Hi, I'm Shorley, and I'm here with a Kanjira lesson. This is a type of frame drum, for those of you who've seen my other frame drum videos. This is a specific type of frame drum. It's a small lizard skin tambourine from South India. It's played in Carnatic classical music of South India, and I would like to dedicate all of this to my teacher, my guru, the great South Indian Vidwan, Professor Trichy Sankaran. In terms of technique on the Kanjira, I use 3 basic strokes. One is an open stroke. It's the full length of the index finger bouncing off the head. Now, the holding technique is similar to the rick. The difference is you have these 3 fingers lightly pressing the edge, not dampening the skin, but they're available should you want to modulate the pitch of that open stroke. So I will usually write that as an O for open, index finger. The closed stroke is usually with these 3 fingers in the center, alternating with a closed stroke with the index finger. So if I write this out, I'll use a 3 and I'll use a 1 and then O for open. This piece I'd like to share with you is a little something that I wrote. It's a theme and variations. The theme takes a 4-beat structure, 4 or 8 beats, and rather than just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it breaks it up into groups of 3s and 2s. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. If you want, you can follow along using the PDF download. I'll put the link in the description below. You can go to my website and download the chart which goes along with this lesson. A dum and a ta, dum, ta. That's the first little theme. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So bouncing and then closed stroke. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Dum, ta, dum, ta, dum, ta, dum. The other is 1 dum and 2 tas. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Dum, ta, ta, dum, ta, ta, dum, ta, ta, dum, ta, ta. And the other one is dum, ta, still in 3, but it's 1, 2, rest, 1, 2, rest, 1, 2, rest, 1, 2, rest, 1, 2, rest. So those are all the little motifs for groups of 3. For the 2, the group of 2, I've actually doubled the speed. So you're playing 4 strokes. It's kitataka, which is a 1, 3, 1, 3. This is all closed. And it can, once you get up to speed, it can roll quite quickly. Start with your index finger, then the other 3. 1, 3, 1, 3. Now specifically, this kitataka is 2 of these. Kitataka. Or 1 and 2 and. We'll start with the theme, which is dum, ta, kitataka. That's the first half of it. Dum, ta, kitataka. Okay. Open, 3, open, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Okay. For counting, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Second half, dum ta, kitataka. So both halves end with a kitataka. Second half, dum ta, kitataka. Dum ta, kitataka. All together, dum ta, kitataka, dum ta, dum ta, kitataka, dum ta, kitataka, dum ta, kitataka. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now one of the things which is unique to the Kanjira is that you have to lightly wet the inside with some water to keep the bass pitch. And you'll probably hear throughout this video, the pitch of the drum will go up and down. As it dries out, the pitch will go up. As I sprinkle more water on, the pitch will drop back down. This is just one of the features of playing Kanjira. Okay, variation 1. Actually, all of these variations, you take all these little bits and you shuffle the order of them. There's no other material other than dum ta, and kita ta. Well, there's really 4 little units, 4 little motifs. I'm just shuffling them around. So variation 1 takes the kita taka from the end of each line and moves it into the middle. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. The first line, I'm looking over at my chart here. Dum ta, kita taka dum ta. Dum ta, kita taka dum ta. Second line, dum ta ta, kita taka dum ta. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Rest at the end. If we put variation 1 all together, dum ta, kita taka dum ta, kita taka dum ta. Let's go back to the theme and play that twice. Then we'll go to the first variation. Okay, so the theme is dum ta, kita taka dum ta, kita taka. Variation. Dum ta, kita taka dum ta, kita taka dum ta, kita taka dum. Variation 2, we move the kita taka, or the group of 2, to the front. Kita taka dum ta, kita taka dum ta, dum ta. I think that's right. Yeah. Kita taka dum ta, kita taka dum ta, dum ta. Kita taka dum ta, kita taka dum ta, dum ta. Kita taka dum ta, kita taka dum ta, dum ta. As you get into this, unless you're keeping track of the overall rhythmic cycle, which in Indian music is referred to as the tala, unless you're keeping track of that, it can sound like all of these are sort of the same. But once you set the tala in place, and I will add, when I play through the whole thing, I'll add some finger cymbals so that you can hear the finger cymbals keeping track of the tala. The open sound will be the first beat, and then I'll use closed sounds for 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so the theme, variation 1 and variation 2 keep the same structure in terms of the number of groupings, 3, 3, and 2. When we get to variation 3, I start mixing it up. We're still working within 2 groups of 8, or 16 beats in total. In this case, I've put 3 3s together. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then a 2, 3, and a 2. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Or dum ta, kita taka dum ta, kita taka dum ta, kita taka dum ta, kita taka 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Variation 4, you do 4 3s and put the 2 2s at the end. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. When you combine 2 kita takas together, you don't usually say kita taka, because it's very hard to say. Kita taka, kita taka. So the phrases can be varied. The one I chose is takatari kita taka. But it's the same 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. It's 2 of those back to back. Takatari kita taka. Takatari kita taka dum. Takatari kita taka dum. Leading with the index finger. So variation 4. Dum ta, dum ta, ta, dum ta, dum ta, takatari kita taka dum ta, dum ta, ta, dum ta, dum ta, takatari kita taka. Once you're comfortable with the techniques, and if you have a drum, either an actual Kanjira or a drum that has a flexible, bendable head, it's really nice to modulate each of the dums, especially the ones where there's a longer dum. Okay, so you can dum, da. Variation 5 really flips around variation 4. It takes the last line of variation 4 and makes it the first line of variation 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then the second line is 3 threes. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It sounds like this. Dum ta taka ta rikita taka dum ta ta dum ta dum ta taka ta rikita taka dum ta ta dum ta taka ta rikita taka dum ta dum ta. As an ending, this is very typical of South Indian classical music. They would have an ending pattern which is called a Mora. In North Indian music, like for tabla, for instance, the same idea is called tihai. In this case, a Mora, I've made a Mora out of that dum ta, which is the last two groupings in variation 5. Dum ta dum ta, dum ta dum ta, dum ta dum ta dum. The Mora is a repetition of a phrase 3 times. That's what's important about it. And it usually ends on the first beat of the rhythmic cycle. I'll play variation 5 once and tag the Mora. Dum ta taka ta dum 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 ta dum. This time I'll play it with the variation in that Mora. So variation 5 once tagged with the Mora. Here we go. Ready? And dum ta dum ta dum ta dum ta dum ta dum kita taka dum kita taka dum. So that dum kita taka dum is in itself a type of Mora. This is something that my teacher does all the time. The third repetition becomes its own Mora. He would call it a sub-Mora. Okay? Okay, let's go through the whole piece. I won't speak what I'm doing. I'll just keep playing it, but you'll hear, I'll add in finger cymbals so you can keep hearing that time cycle. You can play with this as much as you want. You can extend each section, but just for the purposes of this demo, I'll play the theme twice, then variation 1 twice, and so on and so on. After the variation 5, after the second time, I'll tag the Mora and we'll be done. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, ready. Okay, let's go through it again a little bit more slowly, and I will repeat each section 4 times instead of only twice. So if you're new to the Kanjira, it will give you a chance to really get to know each section better. Same thing, theme 4 times, and then all the variations 4 times. The Mora itself is just the ending, so that won't be looped. That will just happen once as it's written, and it'll be over. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks very much. I hope you enjoyed that Kanjira lesson. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so, and stay tuned for more drumming videos.